This is happening in Anson, Texas, at the Bluebonnet Immigration Detention Center in the small city of Anson. Venezuelan migrants who are being held here spelled out a message for a drone that was flying above, and it is SOS. Straight up. 31 men formed the letters in the dirt yard of the facility on Monday. 10 days earlier, dozens of Venezuelan detainees at the center were given notices by immigration officials that they alleged they were members of the Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua and subject to deportation under a wartime law. Again, this Alien Enemies Act, the same one that is being used to round up both Palestinians and pro-Palestinians students, and also detain without any due process Venezuelans. And it's like, we're not actually at war with Venezuela, but also don't speak too soon. Let's not get our hopes up. The families of 7 detainees interviewed by Reuters said they were not gang members and that they refused to sign a document. Nevertheless, hours later, on April 18th, they were loaded onto a bus bound for the nearby Albilin Regional Airport, according to the ACLU, before the bus was turned around and sent back to the detention center. That night, Supreme Court blocked their deportations. The Department of Homeland Security declined to comment on the halted deportations. It was a reprieve for the group of Venezuelans detained at Bluebonnet who still face potentially being sent to CECOT. Again, this is what we're trying to stop. I mean, this is what arguably the woke Supreme Court is trying to stop, is more deportations of Venezuelans to CECOT, where he has sent at least 100, Trump has sent at least 137 Venezuelans under the Alien Enemies Act, which again is still being litigated. It's still being called illegal to invoke it, considering we are not at war. I mean, he's invoked wartime orders in order to implement tariffs. It's like, my guy, what are you talking about? Denied access to the Bluebonnet facility by ICE, Reuters flew a small plane over the center last week, as well as a drone nearby. We're not going to hear the end of this, by the way, guys. This is going to be a whole thing. We will be shooting down media drones in very short order. Because that cannot stand. Having people spell out SOS, you're not going to see that again. Some of the detainees photographed by Reuters were wearing red jumpsuits, designating them as high risk. Reuters photographed Diover Milan, 24, as he walked with 4 other men. Another Venezuelan, Jefferson Escalona, 19, was photographed playing soccer. Reuters identified 3 others by showing their photos to family members. Milan was moved to Bluebonnet in mid-April from the Stewart Detention Center in Lumpkin, Georgia, where he'd been held since he was arrested on March 12th. Reuters could not find a criminal record for Milan. Oh, I'm sure there's one. I'm sure there's a criminal record. You just gotta dig. You gotta dig harder. You just look at it. Look at him. Look at him. He's brown. Look at him. Look at him. Oh, this is Milan. This is not this is Jefferson Escalona Hernandez, also brown, by the way. He was working in construction, a known human trafficking industry. The DHS official said Milan was a documented member of Tren de Aragua, but provided no evidence. The DHS official said ICE detained Escalona in 2025 after he was arrested by local Texas police for evading arrest in a vehicle. He arrived at Bluebonnet after he was returned from the U.S. migrant detention facility in Guantanamo Bay. Jesus Christ. Oh my God, this poor kid. He's fucking 19. DHS officials said Escalona was a self-admitted Tren de Aragua member, but did not provide evidence of the claim. Sure. That makes sense. Well, he's self-admitted. During a phone interview from Bluebonnet, Escalona said he had no ties to Tren de Aragua or any gang. He was a police officer in Venezuela. When they detained him, U.S. authorities took his phone, as he suspects. They saw photos of him making hand gestures they said were common in Venezuela. They're making false accusations about me. I don't belong to any gang. Escalona said he has asked to return voluntarily to Venezuela, but was denied. So he's like, let me go back because I don't want to go to CECOT. I don't want to go to El Salvador. Hundreds of thousands of Venezuelans have come to the United States over the past years, fleeing, again, economic collapse and the other that Marco Rubio pretended to care about. Oh, socialism, it's all bad. Never mind the economic sanctions that we put on Venezuela that actually creates this pressure cooker, awful situation that people can't get basic foods and medicine. We have everything to do with that if we actually cared about human life there. But, maybe there's consistency by saying all of Venezuela, everyone is just a terrorist sympathizer. In Milan's dorm, he and the Venezuelan men take turns sleeping so they can alert family members if ICE immigration officers come to deport them. Milan's wife, who asked not to be named for fear of being targeted by immigration officials, said one day last week he told the men in the dorm refused to go out into the yard because they were worried they'd be put on another bus and sent to El Salvador. Jesus Christ. In one recent call, Milan told his wife they haven't been given much food and that he tries to sleep more so he's not hungry, she said, something that other detainees' relatives echoed. A spokesperson for the Management and Training Cooperation, which runs the facility, said all detainees housed at Bluebonnet receive meals based on a menu that's been approved by a certified dietitian, ensuring the recommended daily caloric intake is met. Amazing. Amazing. I'm sure the doctors at Guantanamo said the same thing for the alleged terrorists who were held there, who were like, it's just enough calories to keep them alive and off of a hunger strike, which they definitely and were staging, and then they were violently force fed. If you guys don't remember that fun story out of the early 2000s. Slash on and on and on in the decades and decades that the people were held in Guantanamo without charges, by the way. But oh, how we've learned from that. DHS says they use multiple strategies to manage capacity while maintaining compliance with federal standards and our commitment to humane treatment. It's maybe fitting. Oh, here he is. Here's Milan and a coworker. I mean, just two gang members throwing up gang signs. You know, the reverse peace sign. Here's his warrant for removal under the Alien Enemies Act. I mean, here's the other thing, like, you know, we talk about like Democrats and sort of the baseline. The baseline has to be we're eliminating the Alien Enemies Act at like 100%. If there is majorities in Congress, I want to see that introduced. If there is majorities in the Senate ever, I want to see that introduced. That needs to be part of this whole effort to unfuck the Republic. What's going on, Frantifa? If you haven't already, subscribe to this channel right now. Hit that button. And also, you can become a patron and support the show every single week. Get access to bonus episodes and exclusive merchandise. Patreon.com/Bitchuation Room. Do it.